What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
Chris Abacon.
What's going on, everybody?
And Daniel Acevedo.
How's it going, guys?
What's going on? So, welcome to Friday's episode. So, Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays, Ask CSSP. Should be with Kenneth Ellington from the Ellington Cyber Academy. So I think it'll be his third time on the podcast. Always a good conversation. And then Fridays, everything else. So movies, books, games, all that good stuff. But without further ado, how's everybody's week? We'll start with Shannon.
It was pretty good, man. The Halloween, right? I know we've said several times how we do the production schedule, right? So this past week, Halloween, didn't have as many people come by the house. So we got a lot of candy here. So I hate to waste money. So I got to eat it all, I guess, right? I guess that's how.
There you go.
No. What ends up happening is that everybody brings that extra into work, and so for the next month and a half, we're eating all this. How that works, right? Just passing a table that has some at work, like ooh, Reese's Cups. I love that.
My second favorite holiday. My first is Girl Scout season.
Oh, yeah.
Bring the cookies in. Bring them in.
Yeah. I hear you on that for sure. Yeah, children had a good time. That's really what we do it for, right? Like it's not for me anymore. I actually did dress up. I did put my send you guys a picture of what I went at. It was a Taco Bell sauce t-shirt that had the Diablo on it. My wife had one. My sister-in-law had the other one. So yeah, that's what we went as. So it was a fun time. They had fun. When it came to media and what I was watching. So Ryan, you put me onto that It's Florida Man. And I've watched the 3 episodes, and I'm like, this is just crazy, man. And like, the stories seem unbelievable, but then they have the people that are the real life people from the events in there talking about them, and you're just like, what? Like, this really happened? Like, but yeah, it's like Florida, man. Like I've been stationed there. I don't know if I ever want to go back. We'll see.
So my favorite so far is the second one where the dude lost his arm.
Yeah.
That's a crazy story.
He was. So have you watched the third one?
I just started the third one.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. Like more comes out of it to where how is this woman able to do this? And it's like, oh, that makes sense on how she's able to do it. So, but
yeah, because I started it, but I had to cut it off because the kids were still awake. It was like some kind of like cult ritual thing happened. I was like, click, nope.
Yeah. Some of the stuff they show, you're like, yeah, I can't do that around the kids. But yeah, it's Florida Man. That was a pretty decent one. That's a good series. I'm getting into watching. My documentary phase hasn't really gone away recently, and I've watched this one called Breath of Fire. So I watched the one before that had the Vikram yoga guy and how he was like kind of crooked. They got another one on yoga, Kundala yoga, some other type of yoga, and I started that one, and I'm like, man, here we go again. Like it's weird, right? Like, I hate to say anything is a cult, right? Because there are people out there that'll tell you religion is a cult, right? The only difference between the cults and established religions right now is time. That's what people will say, right? Like, oh, Christianity's been around for this long, you know? Hinduism been around for this long, you know? Islam been around for this long. So they're not considered cults, right? But when you have something new, like Scientology, they're like, oh, that's a cult. Well, give it time. It'll be an established religion that everybody recognizes. Right, that's what people say, and I say this, and full disclosure, right? Like I am not a practicing Christian. I hate to say that, right? But like I believe in God, right? I say my prayers before I lay my head down. I say grace before I eat my food, right? I do believe there is a higher power. That's just me, right? But there are some things about it that I'm like, nah. I don't know. Organized religion gets me sometimes, but okay, I'm not trying to get us canceled. So, but. But
too late.
Yeah, this is an interesting one when they're talking about this yoga, because what they tried to do is they tried to make it seem like religion was a very big part of it, right? That's kind of how they legitimized it. But it's an interesting take on it. But it's called Breath of Fire, is what it's called. So I gotta get the then. My wife and I am watching High Potential. How far have you gotten into High Potential, Ryan? Let me ask you that. How many episodes?
I'm still only on the second episode. Like I don't my schedule keeps getting jacked up because I'm really interested in it. So it's definitely not a bad show. I just haven't gotten to through the next episode yet.
So I think it picks up again to where it starts at. Like there was a lull. Like I told you, like episode 3 kind of goes down for me, 3, 4, 5 like this, and then episode 6, I'm like, oh okay, I like where it's going again. Right? They kind of got back to where it was. But yeah, my wife and I we watch that every chance we get. Whenever she can get that 44 or whatever it is, because we have Hulu Live. We don't have cable television, right? So it's us watching it with, you know, trying to get it without the ads and all that. But yeah, series. What else did I watch? I was watching something else that I was like, this is another weird thing. I can't remember what it was. It'll eventually come back to me, and I'll put it in the group chat. But yeah, man, it was a good week. I won't complain. Children had a good Halloween, taking in some decent content that's making me think. Oh, my wife and I started watching this TV series. Elsbeth is the name of it, and apparently,
Oh yeah, I've seen some trailers. She's like very awkward or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
But it's a spinoff of The Good Wife and another spinoff from that or something like that, I think is what it was from. I've never seen The Good Wife or whatever, so I just thought it was its own show. But then I was looking something up and they're like, oh, yeah, it's a spinoff. So she was a character on The Good Wife and The Good Life or something like that. There's another one. But yeah, it's a detective type show, right? Like even though she's not a detective, she's a lawyer that's there with the NYPD on a consent decree because they had some issues with some stuff not lining up when their work. So they brought in an outside force, right? But there was ulterior motive. So it's an interesting show, and she is quirky, right? Like so, it's like kind of weird, but yeah, my wife and I have been watching that one. But that's pretty much been it for me, man. Nothing outside of that. What about you, Chris? How's your week?
Our week was actually pretty good. Actually, I went and voted on Monday, so that was a good time. It was actually fairly quick. It was here in St. Petersburg, so it was in and out, and it was secure. Yeah, no drama. But the weekend before that, actually last weekend, we did a little Halloween party. It was like Harry Potter themed, right? I was Snape. I put white makeup on, so that was a real funny hit. So and I had a wig and everything. Yeah, canceled for sure, but it was a good time, right? We catered some food. It was like 12,
Nice.
13 people, maybe 14 people showed up. It was good. But yeah, drinks, food, the business. It was a lot of fun. And then that was last weekend. Me, obviously, I'm wearing my Vikings gear. I'm repping. I was telling them earlier offline that every time I've worn this purple Viking shirt, the Vikings have lost. So I want to break the curse this week, and hopefully we can make it again at the time of this recording. Hopefully we can beat the Indianapolis Colts. But on the football end,
Everybody knows who to blame now. It's you.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? But on the football end, right? Minnesota, Big Ten, big following Big Ten. Sorry about the loss yesterday, Shannon. That was probably
all the time. I tell people
all the time.
every year, Michigan and Ohio State is where we're going to lose. It's going to
Yeah.
happen. But the thing is, like, I stopped watching the game. Like, I was watching it. I didn't watch the beginning of the third quarter. I saw Drew Allard 2 consecutive sacks. I was like, I'm turning this off. I don't want to see this.
No, you get triggered.
I was like, I'm gonna be so like it was just ridiculous. Like we are better than that. You know what I mean? So it happened though. I knew it was gonna happen.
So for me, right, like Minnesota's won some pretty decent games in the last few weeks, right? So we've been kind of on a hot streak, but we beat the top 25 at Illinois yesterday. So that's fun. So we're actually in the top end of the Big Ten now, which was 6-3. So I'm just like, what's going on here, right? But college football is getting pretty exciting. It was actually here in Florida. We had Florida Georgia, right? That was going on, and that's always a big game. But Florida was leading for the majority of that game in the beginning, so that would have been exciting to see Georgia lose. But again, I'm not too invested into the SEC. It's like until playoffs, but Big Ten all the way. And then on the media end, wife and I have been new episodes of British Bake Off are out, so check that out. It's our winter fall tradition. We start that, and it goes through the 10 episode series. Also, the Harry Potter movies.
Some of that stuff. Like, do you ever try like? Hey, I see what
I don't, but my wife bakes bread and stuff like that. So sure. So
Nice.
it's always a good thing. One of these days we should just get like the Bake Off cookbook and just go to town on it'd be a holiday thing like on Christmas or something. Just make all those they have a lot of British food has like fruit in it, like the fruit cakes and stuff like that, carrot cakes.
So
I like fruit cake.
I'm just asking because I know
Me too.
More than one, you've mentioned it more than once that you watch it. So I was like, well, maybe like you're like, hey, that looks like a good idea. Let's go ahead and create that or try that.
Yeah, so eventually we will, but I think the family here makes a lot of bread, right? And then bread based or like we'll make like brownies, cornbread, stuff like that, but nothing too crazy just yet. No big cakes. I like cake, so that's maybe something that I would pursue. We got a little stand mixer, just throw some flour in there. How hard could it be, right? It's just chemistry.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's actual science. So
it's science. No, I'm gonna mess that up so badly. It's gonna
you
be
say that you forget the ingredient, and then you're like, oh, that's
man.
What does it taste like?
I'd be like Gordon Ramsay, like it's raw, just completely
Throw it
mess
on the
it up.
ground.
Yeah, but on the other man end, right? Like we watched a show last year. It was called The Diplomat. It's about the diplomat going to the UK, right? And the second season just came out, and I really like it. It's a good show. And other than that, on the end, I've been looking at, I think discussed a few podcasts ago about exploring a new computer, blah blah blah. But the Mac Mini just came out, and I was telling them earlier, I'm like, that thing is beautiful. It's like this tight. It's like 5x5.
It's so
It's
small.
small, but like
Sign me up.
yeah, even the base model is at $600 at $599 before tax. It's got 16 gigs of RAM and the M4 processor. I'm like, I'm glad that Apple's like making things so, I would say, affordable finally. Like, I mean, the Mac
Yes.
Mini's always been affordable, but this is very powerful stuff for $600.
Right.
Just plug in a monitor and a keyboard and mouse, and you're good to go. I mean, it's pretty awesome. I think it's a great addition. But other than that, pretty boring week. Go vote.
Go
How was
vote.
your week, Daniel?
It was good. It was good. Trick or treating. They did it big on the base over here. My first time in Yokosuka, so shout out to them. It was just the houses came out. They decorated. The parents were sitting out there with bowls of candy. Kids were living it up. My kid got a big old bag full. I had to like slow her down. I'm like, hey, you gotta take it easier for her. Heart's gonna explode. I need you to. I don't let her eat that much candy. Bounce off the walls and pop into yellow dust. Like, you need to chill out. But then me and my wife took turns of like having the worst allergies and sinuses we've ever had in like the history of the world. It was like 2 days for me, and then I got better, and then literally it finished, and then that night she started sneezing, and her for 2 days. Like this part of Japan where we live, it's hilarious. It's like it was super hot, and then it was like F you, no fall, straight into winter. It's freezing now. Go. And then it was like raining for like 5 days straight. Yeah, it was rough, but we're better. It was just like just because of the weather and the rain and stuff like that. But we had a good time. We enjoyed it. Besides the sneezing, besides that, I set some stuff up, got some lights. I got this bad boy too, which I had it on some of the episodes today, but I shut it off because they said my camera's flickering. But just trying to like match you guys in the aesthetics because I felt like mine looked like a prison cell, like bare walls. It was looking pretty rough there for a while. But you've got a nice.
I got nothing behind me. Like I'm in my basement. Like I picked the barest wall in my basement. Like if I was to do one of the other walls, you'd see Raven stuff, you'd see some pictures and whatnot. But no, I'm like, nah. This is it right here. This will work.
I'm in the living room,
part of the
right?
incognito
I have a
zone.
roller desk, so I just roll my desk into the living room.
I missed it, Shannon. I said that Chris's looked like a fake background from Teams. Like when you're on a Teams call, you can choose like the backgrounds. His house looks too nice. It's amazing.
You could tell he doesn't have kids.
Yeah.
Got white furniture? Are you crazy?
Yeah, let's go.
Kids or animals or pets. Or you have a pet, right, Chris?
I have pets, yeah.
Okay.
See,
Man, they're the
the
cutest pets in the
pads
world.
on the couch? That's because pets.
That's true. That makes sense.
Gotcha.
Let me see. So media-wise, basketball's back. I don't know if you know this about me. I'm a big basketball fan.
Nice. What's your team?
Lakers, unfortunately.
Okay. Dude, they're playing well now.
They are. But I'm not a big Anthony Davis fan because he aggravates me the way he plays. I wish he'd play with more intensity, like Giannis or some of these other players. And he's always hurt. And then LeBron is like never gonna retire. He's gonna play till he's like 175 or something.
He's got to win a championship with his son.
Bronny.
So
yeah.
however long that's, better hope it happens soon.
So let me
he's
ask
gonna play till he's 80.
So let me ask you this, Daniel. LeBron is 40 years old, or soon to be 40 years old in December, right? Or whatever it is.
Yep.
And he's playing at a level that is unseen in basketball, right? So, like, do you want him
to... Time out. It has Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, put some respect on my guy's name. He was playing until his 40.
At 40 years old, Kareem was not averaging 25, 7, and 8. Whatever.
I think not that because LeBron's a freak of nature. Like, all right, he's not human, but like Kareem was still pretty productive at that age. But he's the only other player in the history of the NBA. I'll give him that was doing this.
His numbers were not what LeBron's are, and when he he was at that age, magic was there. You know what I mean? Other star players. LeBron is doing it with, like you said, a broken AD. Cannot, like, if you get more intensity out of him, he's gonna miss more games, and you don't want that either.
Well, I'll give AD the benefit. He's been playing really good this season. I know he's a sneeze away from like breaking his back or something. Like that's just how Anthony Davis is built. Like I don't get this guy. He's like how many inches taller than me? He's like built like a Greek god, but like I don't know. He gets
But
up
he's
from a
but he's
chair and he like twists his
soft.
ankle.
He's soft as
Yeah, yeah,
flowers. Wet flowers are.
yeah. But yeah, so I've been getting into the basketball. It's hard to watch it over here. There's a time difference, so I just catch the highlights or I'll watch something pre-recorded or something like that. We're still slowly watching Shogun. I think I still love the show. It's amazing. I even think Shannon. I think you actually might even like it. There is a little bit more reading than you probably would like because a lot of it's actually in Japanese to my surprise.
That I don't mind. So like I have hard hearing. I'm hard of hearing. You know, the military. You know, I was a judge mechanic.
Yeah.
So like my hearing is not the best. So I'm always watching closed captions.
Yeah, me too.
I'm always doing that. So that's not a problem. And I know, like, whenever they do those shows like that, they're always beautiful. But I've talked to people that have watched them, and they're like, "Yeah, you get a lot of the dialogue and this and the third. You know, that ain't my jam. Like, if you a samurai, cut some heads off. I need to see that all the time."
Right.
That
Somebody
happens.
has to get decapitated.
That happens too, and the pacing is not bad in the show. That's why I think you wouldn't hate it. I feel like the pacing is pretty good, so you kind of like stay with the story. And the season's short, so I think that helps it out too. We're like halfway through, so we really want to finish it, but you know we're still getting adjusted. I mean, we've only been here I think 4 months. We hit 5 months. It's going fast, but you know I unloaded everything in the house now, and I'm trying to put everything where it goes. I'm buying more stuff to put stuff away. I'm finding stuff that I haven't seen in like 2 years. I'm like, why do we still have this? And like throwing crap away. So that's been most of my week. Basketball reclips, a little bit of Shogun. I haven't really done a lot of gaming. I kind of miss it. My heart hurts a little bit, but you know that's fine. I'm trying to get all this lighting and like video stuff. I hired somebody to make me the WordPress website, so we're going through that. I'm trying to figure out how to make a logo. I thought it would be easier. It's not that easy. Everything I use, every AI tool that I use, I give it prompts and it's giving me back stuff that I don't like. And I'm like, no, do better. And then it says it's starry, but it's not human. So I can't like really get frustrated. I'm frustrated. So that's been my week. I'm just trying to get this whole thing like spun up to start doing the vlogs and the blogs and posting all that stuff. But how was your week, Ryan?
Not bad. So like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. So what did I watch? So I watched Agatha all along. I marathoned it. Got finally waited for it to finish. It wasn't bad. It gives you a lot of really good detail, but it's lore that you don't need for the rest of the movies. So, like if you're like a nerd like us, you might want to watch it to get just like, okay, this fills me in on a bunch of the stuff that was happening in Westerview and the characters that were in WandaVision and what happened to them afterward. But completely non-consequential to the rest of the MCU. Just if they make more TV shows, they might weave these characters back into them at some point, or it might just be standalone. I don't know. Like Disney's been doing that a lot, where it's just like you get a WandaVision, and then like Agatha all along is the sequel to that, right? But a lot of the characters don't migrate over. So some of them do. So you'll see people from Westerview, you feel like that's kind of funny, but some of them don't. So it's just non-consequential in that way. And then I watched a little bit of it's Florida Man. So I got to the 3rd episode of that one. Yeah, episode 2 is crazy when dude got his arm ripped off by the gator, and he's just so happy. It's still so optimistic about life.
Very, and at the end, he was like, "Man, I feel like going over there again." It was like, why would you do that? Like you will not survive it a second time. Because he's at the scene. Like, for y'all that haven't watched it, he is at the place where it happened. Like, he goes back to visit it. And as he's looking over this broken wire, he's like, man, and he gets emotional about it. Like, I want to go over there again. You know what I mean? And I'm like, why? Like, are you trying to get yourself in? Like, are we? That's not what I'm here to
He
watch.
ain't bad man. He survived, like, not to give too much away, but he survived 3 days with the arm chopped off. Yeah, because he couldn't get out.
Pretty much.
He was,
Pretty much enough.
yeah. So I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Count your blessings.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, just I don't know how you did that, but so watched a little bit of that. I did get some gaming in, so I've been playing Space Marine 2, so Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2, gorgeous game, gorgeous, very dude bro shooter. Like it's scratching that Gears of War itch. You got these big hulking dudes running around. Well, like for the spirit machine. So many enemies on screen at once. Like I did a screen capture of some really bad gameplay, and I couldn't share it with you guys because the file was like 500 meg for like it was like less than a minute, or like it was like a minute and a half or something like that. But because it's HD and it's super ultra wide, right? It's just so much being captured. So I was able to put it on YouTube, and I'm going to try to give you guys the link so you can see me play
That'll be
poorly, but you get to see the scale. Like, because I'm running into a bunch of enemies. I'm like, this is wild. But trying to record and play at the same time, you're gonna laugh at me. I was fumbling.
cool.
I was getting the business. But yeah, so I played a little bit of that. I should say a lot more of that. Really enjoying it on the new rig. I played a little bit of Call of Duty, like, so it's really good. Like, I like the campaign. It's probably the best. Like, I skipped at least 11 Call of Duties between Call of Duty Ghosts and this one, but it's so far it's my second favorite campaign.
Oh wow.
It's like what Modern Warfare 2 is my favorite.
The
I'm sorry,
goat.
Modern Warfare 4
Yeah.
is my favorite. There it is. Yeah, 4 is my favorite.
Mhm.
But like it's hitting all the right notes. It's like very espionage. I'm getting some. Here comes a second. Here comes a double cross. I feel it coming up. But if they hit me with the triple cross, I got to put it down. You know how I feel about that, Shannon. You only get so many crosses, and I just like I'm out. And I'm playing that on the Series X, so it was buggy on my PC for whatever reason. It kept freezing and crashing, and it's doing this
PC.
weird thing where it does the 32:9 like natively, but it does this fishbowl thing. So as you're turning, the perspective on the edges is warped. And I tried playing around with the settings. I went to Reddit, and a lot of people are complaining about it. They're like, just playing it 21:9. I'm like, well, I might as well just play it on the TV like a peasant. And then when I booted up on the TV, it looked great. So I was just like, okay, I could play like this. It's fine. It's fine. So I hope after, because I'm only trying to play one game like for real at a time. So I'm gonna try to beat Space Marine 2, and then I'm gonna try to jump back into Call of Duty. Only campaign and maybe zombies. I'm not playing multiplayer. I don't feel bad. It's on Game Pass. I didn't really pay for it, so I did, but I didn't. So it is what it is. The Bills play today, so we're playing the Dolphins at home. So we usually do like Dolphins have not been playing well this season altogether, but we usually play when we do play them. We usually play very well at home, and then the Miami game is kind of iffy, right? So we already played that game, so now we're playing them at home. I think it's going to be like a balmy 60 degrees,
Yeah.
so we should be okay. It's not snow flurries, but I think we'll be okay. So that's at 1:00. So I'm excited for that. And then just working on RAM stuff, just trying to, I'm not working on the website yet. I'm waiting to see how Daniel's thing goes, right? I'm going to learn vicariously through you on that front. But, I had the panel, I had an article in Dark Reading, so I'm getting a lot of good buzz. I don't know if Shannon knows because he's not really on LinkedIn or whatever, but I have a little piece in the book by Elizabeth Stevens, right? So building a resilient digital future. She put my picture in there, and I got a couple pages talking about the
Nice.
NIST CSF. So I'm pretty excited about that. So that should also generate some buzz. So I think things are going to go well. I just have to make sure I'm properly scaling and all that other business stuff you don't think about, right? So I have to, make sure I'm taking on the right clients, give them the right value, give them good, word of mouth, so I can continue to grow. Maybe get an employee at some point. Or get into that CMMC business, Chris. Shake my hand.
I don't think this is going to be the case, but I'm hoping we don't have to keep you grounded, right? When you start referring to yourself in third person, hey man,
Nah,
I remember when you were Sergeant Williams, man. Cool off, man.
yeah, not at all, not at all. That's the second time. So you said sorry. So my wife messed me up. It was during the hurricane. I was rationing gas, right? So I finally found some fuel, got the generator running, and then I was telling everybody at the house, like the kids, we're only going to run it for this long, so make sure you plug your stuff in. Like I'm going through the whole rigmarole. She was like, "All right, mess her."
That's
And
hilarious.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I was like, am I doing too much? Like, and then shortly after I filled the generator up again, power came back up. I was
Nice.
like, so it is what it is. But and then we did trick or treating. So I took my youngest and my two nieces out, and it was a good time, but it was not the same vibes as years past. I think the storms really just beat people up. Like even we didn't put up all of our decorations; we just put just enough, right? And barely any kids came in our house. I think my daughter handed out the candy. She said maybe 5 kids stopped by our house. And
Wow.
we went out around the neighborhood, hit up like the kids got a lot of good candy and whatnot, but there are a lot of houses with the lights out. Like I would say less than half the houses than last year were participating. I think people just weren't feeling it. Like we're just
Yeah.
tired. So hopefully, Thanksgiving and Christmas, people will start to perk up a little bit, get some Christmas lights
Yeah.
out there. Stuff, the inflatables, like stuff that the kids are like walking around the neighborhood and seeing. But yeah, this year is rough. People I got still got tarps on their roofs, so I get it.
Yeah.
People are pretty beat down. So hopefully that'll start to perk back up by the end of the year. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm ready for my Bills to hopefully beat these Dolphins. They don't have some kind of weird resurgence. Like, nah, your season's over. Just chill out. Go through
Stop
the
trying so hard.
motions. Yeah, go through the motions. Just let's get this W real quick. And then yeah, playing some Space Marine later as I hopefully edit these episodes. I have not tried that yet. I've not tried playing a game and edit an episode. So we'll see how that goes. See how impressive or not impressed I am as I try that out. But that's pretty much been it for me. So thank you guys for popping in. Again, it's always a good time. Monday, Tuesday, our topics. Wednesday, discussion. Thursdays, Ask CISSP. And then Fridays, everything else just like this. So movies, books, games, all the non-cyber related stuff. Hit us up by all the websites to go by our name. Hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn as well as pretty much every other platform. And where can they find you, Chris?
You can find me on LinkedIn under Chris Abacon, last name spelled Abacon.
And you, Daniel?
On LinkedIn under my name, Daniel Acevedo.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.